Hey guys, welcome to Seattle Coffee Gear. My name is John. Today we're going to be talking some more about milk steaming. Specifically, we're going to be talking about steaming milk on lower powered machines that have thermal blocks or kind of non-traditional heating methods that just don't have quite the same steaming power. So I'm going to give you guys some tips, tricks about how to steam milk, get really good texture on your lower powered machine so you can make cafe quality milk at home. All right, the machine we have today to test this out on is the Breville Infuser. This is a great kind of entry level, almost to mid, but really entry level home espresso machine. This is a thermocoil heat system, so it's not a boiler where you just have a bunch of water at one temperature and you're pulling your steam from that. It's heating that steam on the fly, so you don't have quite as much power as you would with something that is a boiler espresso machine. Typically, these machines are going to have smaller steam wands. That is okay. That's not going to stop you from getting really high quality milk out of them. So why don't we go ahead and jump in. I'll get a pitcher of milk and I'll be right back. All right, so I have my pitcher of milk here. If you have any questions about just general steaming technique, make sure you take a look at the video we did a few weeks ago about some milk steaming techniques. I'm not going to cover any of that today. It's really just going to be focused on this little guy here. So Breville is a little bit different than some other manufacturers. Breville adds in a really nice auto purge function when you're changing between steaming temperatures. So can be frustrating because there's really only one setting for your steam. It's not like you can build up pressure and use less pressure or more pressure. You're really just set at that one setting. So you really have to focus on your technique and the placement of your steam wand in the pitcher if you want to get good milk. Well, why don't I grab this pitcher and then we can start steaming here and I can show you guys some tips and tricks. So the same basic concepts will apply where you start with that steam tip underneath the surface of the milk and then you're going to turn it on. But before I do that, I'm going to let this come up to temperature here. This is blinking, so that means that it's getting ready to steam. It's still coming up to temperature here. Any of these machines that aren't a heat exchanger or a dual boiler will have some crossover time between steaming and brewing. This one is pretty quick to switch back and forth. So I'm going to be really daring here and just plunge that up there. So it's that same concept where I'm trying to start that spinning motion in a circle. And then once that's spinning, I'm going to start adding my air to it. The key here is just to be really gentle when you're adding air. It might seem like it's taking a long time to get the right amount of air in that milk. But because the machine doesn't have that much power, you're not really heating up that milk rapidly. And then once you have enough air, it's that same idea where you just plunge the steam wand back down in there. I'm actually going to kick this up a little bit and try and get that whirlpool. If you have a lot of big bubbles floating on the surface, you really just kind of want to aim for those larger bubbles. You will be moving your pitcher around more on this machine than on those larger home machines. And once you're at that temperature that you're looking for, let's go ahead and shut that off. Make sure you purge out any milk. And then obviously you want to make sure that you're wiping this off. I don't have a towel with me right now, so I'm committing one of the cardinal sins. But you should end up with something that's pretty usable. It's going to have that kind of wet paint texture, similar to that last video we were talking about, nice and glossy. When you're steaming on a machine like this, everything tends to happen kind of in slow motion. So you really have some time to sit and ponder the facts of life while you are steaming your milk. But just be really patient when you're steaming on these machines, because it does take longer to get your whirlpool spinning, takes longer to introduce that foam, and then it does take longer to reintegrate that foam after the fact. So just stay patient while you're steaming, and make sure that you're doing all those same concepts and techniques that we talked about in the last video, but you're just doing them a little bit slower. All right, now that we've steamed one pitcher, why don't we go ahead and make a quick latte just so you guys can see how that looks on a machine like this. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, let's go ahead and make a latte on this machine here so you guys can see kind of the flow of how I do it. I like to steam my milk first, brew my espresso second, but in order to cut down the turnaround time, I like to actually prepare my espresso and get it all ready to go before I steam my milk, just so I can cut down on that turnaround time and my milk isn't sitting around for too long. So let's go ahead and do that. Today we have Fast Forward from Counterculture. And we are using the Breville Smart Grinder Pro. Nice little Breville duo today. So right now I'm getting it up to the point where I'm just about to pull the shot. And then I'm just gonna set it right there. It is okay if that hangs out for a bit before you brew it. And then we're gonna get our milk ready. Just gonna wait for this to come up to temperature. You can do this to cut down on your time kind of while you're doing other things with espresso, but I'm just waiting for this to come up to temp now. Should be any second here. I have my pitcher here, and I'm gonna do exactly what I did last time where I had that steam running and then I just rushed that pitcher up there so I didn't get any accidental bubbles. And then I'm just gonna start that circular motion here. And once it's moving in a circle, I'm going to add that air. Looks like enough. And I'm just going to drop that back down. At this point, if you see any large bubbles, especially on a machine like this, just kind of move your steam wand around and try and aim for those larger bubbles to push them back into the milk. As you can see, I'm kind of moving my steam wand around here just a little bit. As long as you're keeping it in a circular motion, shouldn't be an issue. Turn that off. Going to purge this. Got that good there. And if you want to cool this machine down even faster, you can just run a little bit of water through it. See that steam coming out there? And just wait till it stops making those nasty steaming noises. Make sure I get that all dry. All right. Well, that's pulling. Let's take a look at the milk here. So there are some slightly larger bubbles in it. Not a lot though, so we're doing pretty good. And I'm just gonna do a little pitcher transfer here. This just makes it easier to pour latte art. Now, some of you asked about that in that last milk steaming video we did. And I'm still working my milk here so that I am not losing that texture I created. Let's go ahead and shut that off. That looks good. All right, now let's pour a latte. Didn't spill. So you definitely can practice latte art and work on these machines here. Just takes a little bit more effort to kind of plan it all out and work that all out, but it is possible. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something from this video, and you're gonna go and steam milk confidently on your lower power steam machines. Leave us a comment down below. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channels for more videos like this. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day. Bye, guys.